This is the show, Entrepreneur Nation. We're having a great conversation with my boy, Nguyen. What's up, bro?
Hey, buddy.
So thanks for being here, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So tell everyone, what is your business?
We are a gourmet, food establishment,
Nice.
burger joint. And we started as a gourmet food truck out in Orange County. Actually started in Irvine.
And you won a food show, right?
Well,
the food truck.
we took the show on the Food Network's amazing food truck race a couple years back. We came close to winning, the top three, and we ran across the country. Just kind of getting that national exposure with our food truck. So that was a great experience.
I'm just curious, and I know we're going to talk more about that later on, but how did that whole opportunity come? I'm just curious.
I think it's just you start to build a grassroots following, right?
Right.
With respect to the brand. The food truck community is pretty tight knit, especially where we started here in Irvine. And from there, just word of mouth through our social media. You got a lot of these producers following you on Instagram and Yelp. So I believe they just reached out, and looked for us to consider coming in for an audition. And that's really how it sort of just started to grow from there. We also got called even earlier on from the producers of Shark Tank, and there was another show called The Restaurant. I think it was Restaurant Investors, Restaurant Startup. I'm sorry.
Nice.
On MSNBC. So it's just a lot of that stuff just started to grow or come up and present itself to us because of our just organic grassroots following on social media.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah, it was really cool.
So give us a little glimpse of who you are, because I mentioned earlier before I had you on that, oftentimes you meet great entrepreneurs that have traditional work experience. I mentioned Alibaba, and I just realized he was a teacher, and look what he built. You, like the Alibaba guy, Jack Ma, might or might not have thought of yourself wanting to go out and build something on your own. What was your background?
Really, my background was in accounting, in financial services. As I shared on a lot of platforms, as I kind of mentor a lot of schools and students, I kind of followed the traditional, traditional path, and that's school education. And so I really kind of followed through with that finance. I became a CPA.
Nice.
Went to New York. Got a great opportunity to work for the feds and.
So you were a Fed.
Yeah.
Did you track any narcos?
Well, more on the financial services. I worked for the SEC, so
Nice.
that was
another kind of narco.
A different kind of narco.
A white collar narco.
White collar, yeah, exactly. And that was a great run.
Yeah.
I have no regrets. Coming from working for the government,
right.
public service, and then of course jumping into the private sector for the rest of my career, and then of course after being in the trenches for so long, I just kind of had that revelation, like many young entrepreneurs I see, or I say I meet with entrepreneurs now that have left their corporate jobs after so many years and just decided, no regrets, they're going to go for it. That's kind of where I was at. I had to kind of, it was a lot of hesitation for a while, but eventually, like I said, it's all about timing, right?
Okay.
And that's really where things transpired into now getting into the food business and now where we're at with GD Bro Burger.
So going into that, and I know we're going to have a very kind of long conversation about your experience in building it, but what skill sets do you think, from being an accountant, working for the SEC, doing the being an analyst, as you had mentioned, give me some practical skill sets from that world that's translated into what you're doing now with your business?
Sure. There's a technical side, right? First, there's a technical side of understanding, as you mentioned earlier in the program, understanding financials and really important with respect to cash flow. Just really delving into, when you're putting together a business plan for your business, you got to look at those 5-10 year projections, right? And laying all that out in understanding financial statements is very important. There's a double-edged sword to that, though, because sometimes with my analytical, thinking and my process over the years, you can stifle creativity. And I think that was kind of where having younger business partners before I was more the compliance guy. I had to. Everyone wanted to run fast, and I had to kind of be the one that, well, let's.
So you were more conservative thinking, and they were
Sure.
more like, let's shoot for the hip, let's go to the moon.
Right.
And you're like, hey, we can do that,
Yeah.
but not in 2 years, in like 20 years.
That's right. Or at least for me, it was a 5-year.
Okay.
At least window. At least that's really where it takes to get the business. I believe to where now you can really launch. You can build an infrastructure and be ready to launch and go fast after that.
Okay, what about other skill sets besides the financial side?
I think I was lucky. Being in the private sector, I had to sell. Right, we had to be out there talking to prospective clients about investment opportunities. Also, as a consultant, I was big on the sales side. So that translates very nicely over to what I do now with respect to dealing with clients and people. I think entrepreneurs have to kind of understand that there's a side of the technical side, and then there's the people side. And I'm in the first and foremost, I'm in the relationship transaction business, right? I'm building relationships over just the business transactions, right? Relationship transactions. You're planting seeds, and I think that's so important for young entrepreneurs to sort of understand that. You got to be out there engaging not only with your community, but there's all gamuts of being out there, and of course selling yourself, selling your brand, right? And being able to engage with your community, and that's really where I think that helps us because, like I said, I'm a people person, and I've translated not only being, I guess, book smart, but also now getting out there and really being able to talk to people. I think that's so important.
Okay. Well, when we get back, we're going to talk further with him about, the problem, the solution side of it, which is such an important aspect for being an entrepreneur. And let's learn more about, the DNA of why he went all in. So stay tuned. We're going to play some commercials, and we'll be right back.